Just as companies are strengthening their stance on COVID vaccine mandates, Johnson & Johnson today revealed very promising data showing that a secondary dose or booster shot of its vaccine markedly raises antibodies and overall effectiveness against COVID. J&J down 0.2%. It's coming up off the lows on that breaking news we just gave you that the Biden administration expects they can sort of attenuate the wait for the booster shot to 6 months from 8 months. Now, with the U.S. daily vaccination rate for first doses now on the rise and a recent increase in COVID-19 testing, one company that disposes of the testing kits, used syringes, and all related medical waste is poised for a lot more business. Let's get to the CEO of Stericycle, Cindy Miller. Boy, we have a huge amount of news that makes your appearance really prescient here. Cindy, tell us what you are planning for and what you've seen so far.
Sure. I think let's frame a few things for Stericycle. We're obviously the largest regulated medical waste company here in the U.S. We do business globally as well. But in 2020, we handled about 1.5 billion pounds of medical waste. So that's a tremendous amount of waste, and 2020 being a pandemic year. What we've seen since that time, sometimes the weight may have been down a little bit during 2020 simply because elective surgeries got deferred. It really was a shift in healthcare to handling the pandemic. What we have seen since that time, Q1 of this year, Q2, we're seeing medical waste increase, which means people are going back, getting elective surgeries, doing those types of things. And in terms of vaccinations, I think everybody should know that here at Stericycle, we divert the plastics from the needles and a lot of the other contaminants, about 104 million pounds of waste that we divert from going into landfills based on our processes. So, and then the last thing I would like to say is just, I would like the public to stay calm. At Stericycle, we have a great pride in protecting what matters, which is the general public and communities, and really to keep the healthcare up and running. In spite of all those vaccines that you just mentioned, we've got the capability and the capacity to handle 700 million needles and process them a month. So if we keep that in mind and put that in terms of framing it, we think it's great that the FDA approvals are continuing to be filed for and coming through. So whether it's one booster or it's many, or whatever the next potential dilemma is, I think everybody should feel confident that Stericycle stands at the ready in order to handle it.
Cindy, tell us how Stericycle is preparing for what could be an onslaught of booster shots. We now just had that breaking news that the Biden administration feels that you don't have to wait 8 months before you can get your booster shot, having been vaccinated already. It could be up to 6 months, just 6 months. So the timeline is kind of shortening here, right?
No, it really is. And I think that speaks to readiness and preparedness. And one of the things that at Stericycle I think was terrific was we've had a really good dry run, or a really good jump right into it last year. Whether we were handling the increase in a lot of the kits that have to go out that follow the vaccine in order to let the service providers administer the vaccines. We've had an opportunity over the course of from when the pandemic hit till now. We've increased our capacity to be able to process those kits by 400% just since the beginning of last year. So we are well positioned for all of those amazing healthcare providers that certainly they administer it either in a hospital or sometimes in parking lots, and all the other places where healthcare has been administered that are a little unusual. Stericycle has been right there, and we are well prepared to make sure that we've got the kits available, that we can process it, and that we'll handle it safely and compliantly. So we're ready.
Let me go into a totally different direction here. So this morning in my team meeting with my team, Claman Countdown, we're sitting around talking. We said, all right, we know we're dealing with inflation. Materials prices are going up. What's in a syringe? So we started looking it up. We know there's plastic, rubber, steel for the needle. Can you tell us what kind of materials increases you're seeing on your end when it comes to inflation?
Sure. I think, Stericycle is not immune to whether it is fuel or it's the price of plastics. As an example, if you think about all of the
Right.
medical waste goes into plastic bins, they have to be processed, they have to be sterilized, they have to be repositioned. There's an awful lot that we do in terms of dealing with plastics. Just that alone, you can talk about the effects of supply chain and certainly the effects
Yeah.
of inflation. But for us, I think we've got a really strong network of suppliers, and our processes internally. We're not seeing shortages. Certainly, in order for us to be able to handle anything that could be coming around the corner.
There are two kinds of shortages. There are material shortages, and then there are worker shortages. Are you guys
Sure.
hiring, and are you having any difficulty filling positions? I know.
Are we hiring? I think I don't know of anybody here, not just here in the U.S., but around the world. I don't know anybody who isn't hiring. So sure, we've done a few things. Stericycle, we're not immune to what's going on in the marketplace. So certainly the labor shortage affects us as well. A few things that we've done. We used to outsource recruiting and hiring. We've brought that in-house. We believe that we're our best champion for helping to recruit and hire and bring on the terrific team members that we do have they're out in the front lines every day. So, we've taken a look at our compensation and benefits and really tried to up our game in terms of engagement to make sure that Stericycle is a work environment where people want to be.
Cindy Miller, thank you. Boy, it's an interesting business that's going to only get busier. Cindy Miller.